Hey everybody, my name is Mr. Francy and welcome back to Mr. Francy Reads. I am so honoured that you've chosen to join me today. Have you ever been in a moment where, I don't know, maybe you were in elementary school or high school, maybe even college or university, and you received some type of a project, assignment or assessment that you needed to do, and you're looking over this project, assessment or assignment and thinking to yourself, no. Why do I have to do this? Why does it need to be on this? I want a do-over. I hear you. I have experienced this many times throughout my life, and it has frustrated me each time. I understand the concept of what the teacher has been, or the professor has been trying to get me to learn, but I don't really appreciate the way that they want me to learn it. Today, I get the chance to do a do-over, and even though it's only going to be for you all who are watching this, it's going to be a whole lot of fun for me as I adorn my Professor Francy hat and say that it is time for me to do a do-over for all of the assessments that I needed to do for this semester for my university course, and I'm going to show you my syllabus. So let's all have a lot of fun with this as I welcome you back to Mr. Francy Reads. Yes, hello and welcome back to Mr. Francy Reads. Alright, so for those of you who don't know, I was enrolled in a university degree last year. I am studying a bachelor degree in arts and I'm going to be majoring in literature. I mean, it makes sense. I love to read, and I would love to work in the book industry somehow, and I know this degree will definitely help me on the way to do that. In this current term, I am studying a unit that is called Great Books. Now that's the first time I've said the name of the unit without using air quotes, because I prefer to say that I am studying a unit this term called Great Books. Yeah, they're assigning us these books that to me are not great. Now I understand that reading is subjective and everyone does have their own opinion, but even coming at it from a neutral perspective, logical perspective, I don't understand how these books are great. So I've received 4 assessments that I needed to do this term. I've done the first 2, I've begun the third one, and I'm going to tell you what those assessments were. I'm going to tell you what I was assigned to do, and then I'm going to assign you, you don't have to do it, but just for the purpose of the video, I'm going to assign you my version of how this would go. So let's get right on into it. So the first assessment was a short answer question assessment where you needed to read 2 short books and answer 2 questions for each book that you read or that you read. So we were assigned 2 short books, we needed to read them, and we were given 3 questions for each book of the 2 books we were assigned to read, and then we had to choose 2 of those 3 to answer. Alright, so I was assigned... what was I assigned? I was assigned these 2 books, Medea by Euripides and Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. I didn't really enjoy either of these books. With Medea, I did not enjoy the fact that it was written in the Shakespearean era, so there was a lot of thee, thy, thou, thou, which just doesn't work for me. Again, all of my opinions are completely, subjective. They're personal to me, so it is what it is. Heart of Darkness was incredibly offensive, and I certainly don't consider it to be a classic. Now, I'm going to chuck out the whole concept that a great book can only be considered great if it is a classic. I'm going to chuck that out the window, because I still think that there are modern day books that are better than great, that are amazing. So, it may not surprise you what I assign. I'm going to assign you 2 books. If you choose to do these, this assignment or these assignments, then yay! Send it to me privately over on my Discord. Link to that's in the description. If not, that's totally fine too. But yeah, we're doing this for fun. So, The books I'm going to assign you are A Killer Cupcake, book number 1 in the Beachfront Bakery series, and Tangles and Treason, book 0.5 in the Vampire Knitting Club series. Both of these are cozy mysteries. Alright, so here come your questions that you would choose from if you were to do this assessment. Now, the assessment is meant to be no more than 1,000 words in length, in total with your answers. So the questions need to be included, but they are not counted in the word count. So it's just your answers that are, and the total amount of word count for all the answers you give needs to be no more than 1,000 words with a 10% leeway, either way. Alright, so for a Killer Cupcake, here are the 3 questions that you get to choose between. Question number 1. Alison goes through struggles to initially set up her bakery. Identify her struggles, list the way she overcame them, and add some suggestions for things you might do differently. Question number 2 is, some say that this book's brilliance is derived from the vast differences in the side characters. Choose 2 side characters, one you liked and one you did not, and discuss what Fiona Grace did in order for you to feel that way about them. And question number 3 is, A Killer Cupcake is book 1 in the Beachfront Bakery series. Book 1 in any series is usually seen as the setup for the series overall. Do you think this was accomplished? Discuss. So you would choose 2 of those questions to answer. For Tangles and Treason, question number 1 is this. Scholars argue that this book does not read like a typical cozy mystery. Define what is expected of a typical cozy mystery and discuss how this book varies to it. Question number 2 would be, being 53 pages long makes this book a pamphlet. Pamphlets have been criticised in the past for not being long enough to flesh out a good story. Do you agree with this in regard to Tangles and Treason, or do you disagree? Discuss. And question number 3 is, 0.5 novellas are considered prequels to the up-and-coming series. Usually they set the reader up for what is to come. Do you think Warren achieved this? Discuss. So you would choose 2 out of those 3 questions. Let's move on to assignment number 2. And the second assignment that I was given was an assignment that was based around comparisons with contrast. Okay, so what I needed to do was read 2 books and compare the pair on a topic chosen by the professor. So, and then you need to choose one of 2 following questions that would assist you in comparing the pair. So the books that I was assigned were The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. This is literally a book about a bug. We don't know how this person became a bug. We don't know why they became a bug. They're literally just a bug and they're trying to make their way in the world. It could not be any more boring to me if I tried. So, great book? I think not. The next one was Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. While I did appreciate my reread of this book, I still don't personally consider it to be a great. It may be a classic, but not all classics are necessarily great books. So, what am I going to assign you? Here we go. The first book that I'm assigning you for this assessment will be My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. This is an adult psychological / literary fiction that really makes you think, and there are a lot of different things that occur in this book. And the second book that I'm going to assign you is also a literary fiction. Interesting how we need to compare and contrast with books, and for me, I received 2 classics. I'm giving you literary fictions. These are books that literally prompt you to think. So the second one is this book, The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse by Charlie Mackesy. Okay, so the topic is going to be reader reflection, and question number 1 is, both of these works are deemed as literary fiction, which lends itself to a writing style that forces the reader to think even after they have put the books down. Compare the contrasting styles of My Dark Vanessa and The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse by noting the differences between what each provokes you to think about, with an emphasis on differing age ranges. Or you can select this question. Both My Dark Vanessa and The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse experience moments of alienation. Explore the contrasting differences between how Russell and Mackesy take you through these differences. Be sure to internally reflect on this and note how it made you feel. Once again, this is a 1,000 word assessment, and again, the 1,000 words only come from the answer that you are giving, it's not including the question, and you have that leeway of 10% either way. Let's move on to assessment number 3. And assessment number 3 is going to be called Contribution for Further Thought. Okay, so assessment number 3, and for me, I felt like these assessments went out of order, but assessment number 3 discusses what needs to be done for all of the books that were assigned. I was assigned 5 books. You'll find out what the 5th one was when we get to assessment number 4. But for all 5 assigned books, you need to come up with a topic for consideration. So, for example, say you read Goldilocks and the Three Bears, you might use the unfair treatment of young bears to reflect Baby Bear's empty bowl, ruined chair, and bed with an occupant in it, despite Mama and Papa Bear still having relatively full bowls, unharmed chairs, and empty beds. For each book, you need to state the topic, elaborate on it, and give your opinion. So as we know, I was assigned the books Medea, Heart of Darkness, The Metamorphosis, Frankenstein, and the book assigned for Assessment 4, which we'll get to in just a minute. For you, as you know, I have assigned A Killer Cupcake, Tangles and Treason, My Dark Vanessa, The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse, as well as the book that was assigned for assessment number 4. So for all of these books, you need to write a 200-word piece. Again, it's a 1,000-word assessment. A 200-word piece of a topic for consideration. Something that's come up for you that you want to just discuss and expand upon, that's come up for you while you're reading the book for each one. And let me know what that is. Bring it up, have it as a title, and then expand on it in 200 words or less. Alright, let's move on to assessment number 4. And this is where the final book does come into play. So for assessment number 4, we are demonstrating post-reading consideration. So you need to read the 1 tome option or 3 shorter books option, and then choose one of the 2 questions to show comprehension of post-reading consideration. So for me, I was given a tome to read or 3 short books. I chose the tome option. The tome option is this book, Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. And I'm reading that at the beginning of June. Alright. So, here are the books that I'm assigning you. If you want to go for the 1 tome option, I'm going to give you 2 choices because the first one does come with a whole ton of triggers. So your first option for the 1 tome option will be this book, A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. Your second option, if you don't want to go for that one, will be this book, Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. If you'd like to go for the 3 shorter books, this is what I am going to be giving you, and let me tell you, they're all cozies. So, the first cozy that I'm going to give you as the first of the 3 shorter books is The Witching Flower by Samantha Silver. The second one is Assaulted Caramel by Amanda Flower, and the third one is Murder is Binding by Lorna Barrett. Okay, so for the 1 tome option, you need to choose one of these 2 questions. Now, the choice that you will make will come down to which book you end up reading if you went for the 1 tome option. So if you went for A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara, your question is, A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara is a book that many readers won't pick up because of its trigger warnings. How much of an impact would the book have without them? Also, did the book evoke emotional responses from you? If so, how come? If not, why not? Or if you picked up Twilight, then you would answer this question. Twilight by Stephanie Meyer is a book noted for its world building. Some readers bask in it, while others take a more cynical view. Where do you stand on the issue? Use examples from the book to support your argument. So you could go either way there. Now, if you've chosen the 3 shorter books option, then you need to answer one of these 2 questions, but both questions take all 3 books into consideration. So the first question is, The Witching Flower, Assaulted Caramel, and Murder is Binding are all cozy mysteries. However, they all differ in terms of subgenres. Determine the subgenre for each cozy and argue whether the author explored the cozy side of that subgenre enough including why or why not. Or question number 2, you can choose this one instead, is The Witching Flower, A Salted Caramel, and Murder is Binding are all cozy mysteries. To each cozy mystery, there are 2 aspects, the cozy and the mystery aspects. Outline the aspects of both for each book and critically reflect on them, arguing which worked for you, which didn't, and why. So, there is my vindication, everybody. Because, I mean, the books that they assigned me, I just don't think they serve the purpose at all. So, are you going to get involved in the assessment for fun? Or did you enjoy the video? Let me know in the comments below. Either way, this is something that I wanted to do for me. I don't like when we need to study a topic and learn something, whether it be for elementary school, high school, or college or university, whatever it is, and we're given such a narrow thing to study when it comes to what it is that the learning outcomes are. I think my point that I'm trying to make here is if you want children or students, if you want students to learn something, I understand that. I think it's a great thing, and I understand that all professors, all teachers need to adhere to the learning outcomes that are prescribed for that class or that unit, whatever the case may be. But why not offer up all different options for your students so that they're not limited to something that they may not necessarily like? At the end of the day, the key to a student doing very well, in my opinion, is passion. If you allow a student multiple options for what they're going to do to achieve that learning outcome, there is a much higher possibility that they're going to be passionate about one of the options that you are giving them, rather than limiting them to just one thing that they can do, and therefore they're going to be more inclined to be extremely passionate about the research they do and submit a much better assessment for you. Anyway, that was my opinion for the day. What did you think? Let me know in the comments section below. This is just something fun that we are doing. I'm not grading or judging anyone's answers. If you do want to get involved, as I said, just send me the answers over privately on my Discord. You can join the Discord, link down in the description below. And we're just having fun with this. Alright, this was something different, so I hope you enjoyed it. But in the meantime, that is where I am going to leave it, letting you guys go with peace, blessings, and so much love. I post videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I'll see you again soon. Mwah! Thank you so much for watching. Be kind, love one another, and spread your sparkling energy all throughout the world. And until next time, happy reading!